Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Snodacast. I am your host, DimondAssassin, aka Lewis, joined by, I had a glitch, my brain is not computing, but anyway. I'm joined by Gallows.
Yo, what's up?
Anara Sarah.
I'm making life clean.
As you should. DJ Lionheart.
Hey guys.
And Hungry Honeybadger.
My camera refuses to take my picture.
Rip. Rip indeed.
It fears me.
It
fears me as all humanity should.
Jeez. Okay.
Understandable. I get it.
Hey, it's been a while. I have to bring it back.
Yeah. You know what kind of fears this this one topic that I want to bring up? There is a fear in a community, in a certain community. A new Total Drama Island season has been confirmed by Cartoon Network. Will be released on Max June 1st at around 9 a.m. So I'm excited for it.
Eastern, Central, Mountain Time. What time?
They did not specify. That's how they announced it. So blame Cartoon Network for the lack of information. Thank you. But
Just
Those
check
bastards.
Just check your time zones and take a guess.
pretty much at this
Or
point.
just check afternoon. Then regardless, you'll
Yeah.
be right.
Yep. For anybody who has never heard of this show or whatsoever, it's basically Cartoon Survivor. So if you have ever even heard of Survivor, you kind of know somewhat of the gist of how the show is. Kind of basically a big parody of it. One thing that I did not like that they did with the teaser intro was changing the theme music. I get it. New season, new intro, new audience. But man, you should have just stuck with the original.
What was wrong with the original song? Come on, I'm not a huge fan of the series, but that song was a hit.
That song was it?
I kind of agree with Ali on that one. Like, I wasn't a fan of the show, but the theme song was really good.
It was. I mean, I think that's why a lot of people watched it because it was so catchy. That's the whole. Fine.
You
You guys are on my mind. Copyright.
Oh, I'm not going for the whole thing.
Yeah, okay.
Knowing me, I probably would sing the whole entire lyrics.
But that's just kind of the thing. Like, it's the song is well enough known and it's enough of an earworm that you only have to hear a little bit to get it stuck in your head.
Yeah.
So why the hell are they going to mess with something that's already good?
Yep.
Because that's what Cartoon Network and that network's known for. Fucking with shit that they shouldn't fuck with.
Gallows bringing the gun.
I mean,
He's
that's
bringing the
kind
heat.
of what TV does nowadays anyway. They screw up good classics.
Yep.
I personally subscribe to the concept of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No, don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. I'm with you. Don't if it's not broke, don't fix it situation. Yeah, but then we get leading into the whole thing. We got new viewers, new children coming up in the world, and they might not like the same shit we did. So there's that.
Here's a question. Who are they bringing back?
They are bringing back. I did not watch the last season, but I know that they're bringing a few familiar contestants from that last season. I think it was one or two that I could remember. Ali?
I might be wrong, but I do. From what I read, it sounded like they were bringing Izzy back again.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite insane nature woman from the first season.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Who's Owen's love interest?
That's something to keep an eye on.
Yep. I could potentially see Heather coming back again.
God, that would be funny to see, honestly.
A lot of people are banking on some cameos, so hopefully we might get some cameos.
If Heather comes back, it needs to be her just being shoved out of a crate with a tranquilizer dart in her shoulder.
Oh my
What
god.
they want to do to Izzy if they could ever catch her.
Yeah.
If they bring Heather back, they need to bring back that which one was with Duncan? That
The
Gwen?
goody. No. Duncan. Gwen was the goth.
Yeah.
yeah.
Quinn.
No. The office like lawyer wannabe type chick.
Oh.
Goody two shoes.
Yeah, the whole preppy, like I was a super nerd in school and everything.
I don't know.
I can't remember the name. Oh well.
Anyway.
But it feels nostalgic, and from one nostalgic series to another one. Ali, I heard you have some news about Doctor Who.
It's been a while since we've actually brought it up on the podcast.
Okay.
But the new season of Doctor Who started 3 weeks ago. Anyway, they recently aired the fourth episode, 73 Yards, which, as a turn away from what is normal for Doctor Who, we barely saw the Doctor in. Brief synopsis, not going into spoiler territory. The Doctor and Ruby end up in Wales, and within seconds disrupt what is apparently a fairy circle or some witchcraft or some other. This leads to Ruby being scared out of her wits and having to deal with what we believe to be a supernatural threat.
Right.
Nice.
We get a cameo from... We get a callback from Unit with Kate Lethbridge Stewart coming in.
Oh, really?
Yep, very briefly. And we get to see Ruby live out her entire life having to deal with this whole thing before it comes back. And for any more information, I highly suggest you watch it for yourself.
Yep. Do you know exactly where it's going to be streamed at?
So the current season is being streamed on Disney Plus. As much as I hate to give them a plug, freaking monopolizers.
More cans of worms to open.
Monopoly was a real thing. Disney would be winning.
Disney or Google.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apart from that, there's also this is coming off the tail end of Boom, where we get to see just how much emotion and how much character the current actor portraying the Doctor, Nchuti Gatwa, portrays. Especially since he spends just about the entire episode in the same fucking spot.
Just freeze frame, still in the same spot. He's still there.
So I do highly suggest watching the current season of Doctor Who, whether you're new to the series or coming back to it. I do also suggest watching the specials with David Tennant just to get you caught up with what's going on.
Yeah, I've been trying to actually find time to watch some of Doctor Who. I just haven't had time.
I watched.
have to make time.
I've watched up to at least the third split of the Who. Forgot which one is that one.
Third season would have been Tennant with Martha.
Yeah, up to the point where the fact that like she goes like she disappears because she gets stuck into she gets stuck in the machine. What's the police station thing called again?
Oh, the TARDIS.
Yeah, she gets stuck in the TARDIS or something like that. Yeah, that's where I left off.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's a great show, honestly. It really is. I think everyone should go watch it.
I will say that this season is departing from the usual sci-fi formula. We are getting a lot more supernatural in it.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be supernatural and sci-fi.
Oh yeah, like
how do you feel about that, Allie?
I kind of like it because with the sci-fi, there's almost always an explanation for what's going on. But this current season, we're seeing that there's not a whole lot of explanations given,
Right.
and there's a whole lot of questions that need to be answered, especially with Ruby Sunday, because we are still trying to figure out what her deal is.
100%. A lot of, I feel like that show holds a lot of like cliffhangers and like answers that still need to be answered from previous seasons and stuff. So I kind of get that feeling of, yeah, you better answer those questions. You better damn well answer all these questions I have.
But this last episode was written by our favorite writer since Moffat stopped being a showrunner, Russell T. Davies.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
So it's good to see him flexing his writing muscles again.
Yeah. But so far you're excited for all the stuff that has been announced, especially with this new season? So far?
Absolutely. Just a quick catch up with the overarching plot line. We saw a return of a villain from Classic Who.
Mm-hmm.
Who at the end of the special he starred in said his legions were coming. We've already seen one of his children come in, the Maestro.
Okay.
Who knows what else is in store? I'm personally excited to sit and find out.
All right, sounds like it's gonna be a new ride for Doctor Who, especially because they're making that transition and they're also hinting at some OG classic like Doctor Who villains and stuff too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put in more cameos like that. So Gallows and Leon, do y'all have any?
No.
What do y'all think of all this news?
It's definitely interesting for.
I would have to.
Like I said, I've never watched it, but it does sound interesting for what the show is. Like I know a little bit of it, but not like a whole bunch.
Right. Gallows?
From what I've seen of the clip, from what I've seen and what I've seen on like TikTok and the clips of it, it's a really interesting thing. Honestly, I think this is a good way to go. Like they at least are showing the sidekick in this one a lot more than they usually do on her little ventures. So yeah, I think they should keep going. Don't keep going all the way with this route, but go like certain episodes with this route, basically.
Yeah, like kind of like change it up for a bit, not.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Not try to stay the same formula, but try to, add a little bit of spice.
Change it up a little bit for the new fans, but keep the nostalgia from the old fans.
Right.
Yeah. I might have to catch up on it sometime soon. Probably give it a catch up here in the next week or so.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get started on it because I know a lot of people have been requesting. Just even before I did the podcast, they were like, "You should totally get into Doctor Who." I highly recommend it. So maybe it might be my time to get into some Doctor Who.
Yeah, I've had similar people tell me about that. And like, if I liked this show, you're gonna like Doctor Who.
Right. And speaking from one nostalgic show to another nostalgic project, Gallows, I heard that they were going to attempt to make another Street Fighter movie.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, our favorite YouTube stars, the Rock Rockefeller, even though it's just one of them, is going to be making a Street Fighter movie. Yeah, they finished up the script and they posted the poster as of recently of the Street Fighter. I understand that people might not be too excited for it because the last two movies weren't so good, at all. But I honestly, I really do think that this guy can actually do a better job than the last two people who did it. Why? Because if you haven't seen the parodies of McDonald's or the parodies of like Star Wars versus Harry Potter, Halo versus Call of Duty. Those YouTube videos, those iconic YouTube videos, I would say go give them a look and go check them out. But yeah, I honestly really do think these two directors can really pull this off this time. There's been a lot of new changes there's been a lot of new changes to from gaming to movies, as you see with Sonic, The Last of Us, what is some other one? World of Warcraft. Well, not really. I give that one like a 6 out of 10. Honestly, I do.
I will let you have your opinion on that.
I'm gonna say I give that one a 6 out of 10. What was the new one? Oh, Mario Brothers. The Mario Brothers.
Also the new Mortal Kombat between the newest one and the old 90s ones.
Yeah. They've done a lot more better with the movies, with gaming to movies. So I believe I honestly think if this comes out in theaters, that I would go see it on the night it shows.
Okay.
The first month. Yeah.
You have that confidence enough to trust them that you do to spend your money like that.
Well, and honestly, a lot of it could be coming from just how far computer graphics have progressed.
Right.
And CGI. Because with the old movies, the kind of moves that they could pull off would not have translated well with computer graphics as they were. We've seen that.
Yeah.
A good one would be obviously the older Street Fighters, but also the way the first Mortal Kombat movies were.
As much as a lot of people hate those movies, those are
love them or hate them. They're iconic in some way.
Well, they have their moments. They do.
They have their problems in general, but that's another can of worms for another time.
True.
What do you guys
Leon,
think?
what do y'all feel about this announcement? Since there's already been 2 already made in the past, and this is kind of like, I feel like the baseball rules of like 3 strikes and you're out. So this is their the third pitch.
Third time to come. So.
I mean, I've never seen the old Street Fighter movies. I don't know if I plan to ever see them. I don't know. And I've also never really played the games. Like, I know the games. Like, I've seen the games being played. I've just never played them myself.
Right.
So, and plus with the way their new graphics are, it could be good. But again, it's not just the directors. It's going to have good writers with a good storyline.
Right.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the posters?
If the writers aren't willing to put in the effort to make it decent, it's not going to turn out so well.
That's very true.
And either get like A-list fucking actors to do it. It's not going to go well if you have a shit script.
Honestly, I would love to see them pull in a bunch of newbies for the cast.
Yes and no.
Just to show how much good script can help.
Yeah.
I would say, like, yes, you want to have a majority of newbies, but I would bring in like 1 or 2 like iconic actors for more smaller roles.
I do want to see somebody with big bravado for Baron Bison.
Yeah.
I just wonder how they're going to do the.
I don't play fighting games very often, so it's not my my type of game.
It's not your cup of tea. Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, to be honest with you, Ali, which is kind of weird to me. I assume that you would like to play a lot of fighting games, honestly.
You would assume that. You would assume.
I assume that, but I guess it's not true.
With the way I talk,
the rage.
Do you really think I'm willing to sit down and play a competitive style game with people?
I feel like she would, if we were playing with her, she would be the one chucking the controller at us.
Probably.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of the new poster, anyways? What do you guys have seen it? It's the iconic Street Fighter logo.
I mean, it looks like it's like a classic Street Fighter poster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing back when you had to go to a movie rental store to get VHS tapes and Super Nintendo games.
Damn, I didn't know it was going that far back in time.
I remember seeing some Street Fighter posters here and there at some of the movie stores.
Yeah.
I like it. It does look like it's from the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're aiming for, honestly, with this one, to bring in more publicity.
It's just missing the flashing start sign. You know.
Dude. My biggest question is how they're gonna go with the costume, because a lot of the characters are.
Yeah. I feel like the costume part, I don't think they'll have a problem with it, since they're gonna try very hard to make sure that everything, is at least detailed and exactly the way that the characters are.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, I don't remember if I ever had a problem with any of the costumes from the previous movies. I think they were somewhat spot on for what they could do during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think now, since we have more of an advance of technology in general, I feel like we're gonna get some like pretty cool costumes. And I wouldn't be surprised if people like start cosplaying again as the Street Fighter characters. Whether if it does well or not. So, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say the biggest. Also, the other question is about it. Which characters do you think they're gonna be bringing into this one? The last movie was by Chun-Li.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this one, I don't know. I wonder which characters are going to be bringing in this one.
Wasn't the last movie just kind of a straight sequel to the first Street Fighter?
Yeah, well, I can't remember if it was either a sequel or if it was like kind of like hitting the reset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they're going to make this a starting point for a new series, I would suggest M. Bison as the villain, because of course.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say at least bring all the characters. I mean, for the ones that are from the original game.
Not all the characters, because at that point you're kind of asking for trouble with overpacking the cast.
Well, yeah.
If we're gonna do that too, just make it into a TV series at most, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they do a movie series, they can bring in a couple of the mainliners and bring in other characters in future installments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense, and they can decide whether or not if they're going to continue making another movie, another sequel if it does well, or spin off into a series. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people, if this does very well, I feel like a lot of people are going to want more in-depth information for whatever story that they're trying to tell. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting how they're going to appeal to a new audience, because obviously this is going to somewhat attract older fans of Street Fighter. So
Absolutely.
how are they going to make it so like this new generation would want to go out and actually see this film? I think that's a pretty big question on that.
I think their main hurdle is to try to convince them that it is going to do well because of the last two movies that have already been out. So it's gonna, I'm not gonna say it's impossible that it can't, be successful. I think they're just in a position where it's going to be hard because of the previous films.
Yeah,
But,
it's a big shoe to fill when
Yeah.
the shoe is bad.
But also, like Ali said, we had like different amount of different adaptations of game movies, and being into real life. Now that technology has changed, and just I think the culture itself has gotten better to the point to where, I mean, we had just kind of reference the Sonic movie when that thing was coming out. People were outraged on his original.
So outraged they delayed it and redid Sonic.
Yep.
It's okay. We'll make it more game accurate.
So
We're
Oh,
sorry.
man.
Forgive us.
Sonic.
We're not worthy.
so
And then they used that for the Chip and Dale movie,
Yes.
Yeah,
which was amazing.
it was
Um,
funny.
but I also heard one thing, that they would be having some issues with licensing.
Like,
Yeah, possibly. I believe that's more rumors than fact. I know they had at the Las Vegas licensing convention.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it was mostly announced at.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, so
But
Finally.
moving on from one, a new game franchise that's gonna be revamped to maybe of a copy franchise, kind of like a multi-copy, if you will. We have Ty talking about this upcoming Rust copycat game called Duckside. Ty?
that looks
What's up, everybody? My name is TJJD, and welcome back to another episode of TGC. Today's topic, Duckside, which is made by Tiny Build Studios, who is also involved with making games such as Hello Neighbor and Kill It With Fire. The game is a resemblance to the Pal World with the art style, and it is a mix between DayZ and Rust. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this game. It's going to be a doozy, alright? You play as a duck, which is tasked to build a base and survive. And there are two elements to this game, which are PvE and PvP. PvE being on the broader side of things until you get into the end game type of things, meaning like you've got your base built up and you have things worth stealing from you, because let's face it, if you've played Rust and DayZ, people be raiding you for them goods, okay? PvP will entail these features, which are raids, player battles, fighting for control of a certain depot, etc., kind of like in Rust. And speaking of Rust, since it does reminisce on Rust, you will expect to see clans of every caliber, from small little groups to large-scale clans that would rival everyone. There are no release dates right now. It's a wish list only right now on Steam. You can wish list it right now, but there are no certain dates as of yet for release. Okay. But they did have some successful betas that they've already done, reaching each a total of 150,000 players per beta test. Let that sink in, okay? And I will be waiting for this gem to be released, because this is an amazing game, and I do hope to see it in action, and I do hope to get my hands on it and properly review this doozy of a game. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been TJJD with TGC, and I will pass it back to the people at Snodacast. Have a good one.
Thank you, Ty, for all the information. Honestly, that sounds insane. Being a duck, third person, switching from first person to third person with a gun, like a Rust style.
the flyby bombings.
I think it would be one of the most entertaining things to play, honestly. I really do.
And you start your base as a nest in a tree. That's chef's kiss right there. That's just chef's kiss right there.
Definitely going to be an interesting game, to say the least.
I feel like I won't be surprised if people are going to get banned immediately with just the amount of creativity people are going to have.
Oh no! I'm
Oh, is
not
that what
going
we're
to be
calling it
surprised one bit. Creative. I'm not going to be surprised one bit.
And
Not one bit.
Speaking about ban news, Leon, I heard some news from Okami that they're gonna be having some changes.
Okami?
Konami.
Konami. Sorry, I'm illiterate. Forgive me. Yes. That I heard that they were gonna make some changes about their tournaments.
Yes. So for right now, heavy on for right now. Konami over in Europe are now banning lewd waifu game mats, posters, all sleeves, and all that kind of stuff, because I guess they're tired of having to stop the judges to like make sure like all your gear for your tournaments is going to be okay for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right.
And a lot of fans are like, there's a lot of mix. Some really like this idea, but there's a big issue, and a lot of people don't like it, is because they're banning all third-party type playmats and sleeves, and they're only going to want you to have blank colored sleeves and mats, or they have to be official Konami licensed mats and sleeves that have if they have pictures on them. Which the big issue is a lot of those mats are stupidly expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, it definitely, looking over the rules, it definitely came across more as a, hey, spend your money on us.
Yeah. So, like, I have a couple of good examples. Like, so this one's, this one's fine. They're not.
It's fine. Content warning.
No, this one's an official Konami licensed one of IP Masquerena.
That's not
came
bad.
out about 2 years ago. Like, so I would be able to use this one as.
Yes, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not bad. That's a cat girl right there.
Well, that's how she is in her artwork and her card too. That's how she is in her card.
I'm sorry, I had to.
But for me, like, the two decks I really like playing is Heroes and Dinos. Those are my two favorite decks to play. And I have playmats that go with that deck. So with this rule, I wouldn't be able to use this badass Dino playmat that I got.
Oh, that's sick.
Or I would show you my other one, but it's kind of under all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards right now. And that one's actually signed by the person I got it from.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to use these playmats because of this ban. A lot of people are really unhappy about it.
Do y'all think will it ruin a lot of people's interest into wanting to enter into the tournaments now, since this is kind of being implemented?
Yes and no. I can see a lot of people getting butthurt and dropping it in favor of other, because there are plenty of other trading card games out there.
Right.
Wizards of the Coast might, and I want to put that in heavy italics, bold print, underline, might.
With a grain of salt.
All caps. Yeah. Don't forget all caps.
You weren't there, guys. Just might. Remember.
Might get some profit out of this with people saying, hey, let's go spend our money over here instead.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's if Hasbro can get their head out their ass.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're talking about Hasbro. Come on.
Yeah. Like, I understand why they're doing this, because Yu-Gi-Oh! When you go to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament, there's people from all ages. And they have not only an adults tournament, they also have what they call dragon tournaments, which is from ages 7 to 13, I believe. I don't remember the proper age, but you don't want, like, if your kid was going to this tournament, you wouldn't want your kid exposed to those type of playmats and stuff like that. Now, if you have them in your own home, whatever, but
yeah,
just more of a professional standpoint, I could see why they're doing it, just so Yu-Gi-Oh has always been for all ages.
Yeah. I mean, I agree half a sense of like, if that's what they want to go, then that go ahead. But I feel like you should still be able to use playmats that don't necessarily involve with explicit content, like whether that be from an anime or from whatever. I feel like you should still be able to use that, but I also see it in the business side of like, yeah, they want to make money out of out of people. So
the video I saw about this actually addressed that in some way, like, so like if they do that and like you were still able to bring someone those type of playmats, there's going to be this one guy who's going to come in with his example was using Luffy from One Piece and how she dresses, especially in the later on in the series. They could argue that it's like, for her it's borderline lewd waifu.
Yeah.
So that's where that whole argument comes in. What?
What were you gonna say, Gallows?
Nothing. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't honestly have an opinion on this because I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you kind of like put yourself in their shoes, like let's say you were doing a tournament for whatever, and they told you bought some custom stuff that you like, whatever show, like let's say you like there's a specific anime that you wanted a playmat or whatever gear that you wanted, whatever it is, and they just told you you can't use it anymore, you're gonna have to buy from us.
I wouldn't be upset about the lewd thing because you guys are right. You got kids who are at least 7 and lower, like 7 to 15-year-olds who play these games. Well, sorry, 11 to 13-year-olds who play these games and shouldn't be shown these lewd things.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't say the lewd. Yeah. But then that's fine. That should be banned. It really should, because it gets out of hand sometimes. But then there's a whole point of, then you got non-licensing things. It's like, why? Long enough they don't show anything they're not supposed to, and they got I would be upset because now, one, you're telling me I have to go buy a whole new mat that I don't want to go buy, or I have to buy some expensive ass mat from you guys that ain't really worth buying because it shouldn't be that expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not even that they have to go buy a new mat, it's that they have to buy a mat from Konami.
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming like Ultra Pro mats would be okay, but there's like some companies out there that are third party that you just couldn't get their mats.
Right.
Like, even like I would believe, like, if they were like a plain colored mat, like a solid colored mat, I believe those would be okay, but nothing like with artwork or something like that. Those would be the ones that would be an issue. And not to mention, some of the playmats, like I said, the reason why they're stupidly expensive now is because the tournaments that you would get those types of mats at, they don't do those tournaments anymore. They stopped doing those 7-8 years ago. So these playmats are going for, instead of your typical, like, I spent probably like 30 to 40 on each of my really nice mats. These ones are going 200 plus.
Yeah, because it's resale.
That's going to be the big thing right there. A lot of the mats that people use these days are kind of status symbols for them. And the reason not only the reason why, they're very limited printing too.
Yep.
Those type of mats are very limited printing. Like, sure, like, if you're, like, say, if you go over to Japan and you could get those old play mats from a YCS 7-10 years ago, it's still going to cost you at least $100.
Yeah.
The other problem with it is also that now the third party businesses are like, what, small businesses? Basically,
a lot of it is really small business.
Yeah.
That sell these now, that they're gonna make them lose profit because now they can't be bought for matches. I mean, you could still buy them if you go into a regular card, like a comic book store that hosts trading card games, or a trading card store.
I mean, maybe not, because a lot of the game stores that you would be going to
Yeah.
are Konami licensed to host these tournaments.
Well, I'm not saying licensed. I'm not saying Konami hosts licensed tournaments. I mean non-licensed tournaments. You can go to these stores and still play that mat. But
So
depending
basically,
on
your back alley type card shops that don't do official Konami tournaments. They just do tournaments for fun.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe I don't know. No, that would be a little. That would also be different too, because each game shop would have their own rules about that.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I'm kind of surprised that, you know, it's being affected over there during the Europe region, but it's funny how it hasn't been affected here in the US yet.
Oh, because capitalism.
Yeah.
So you know,
Everybody
it's,
Honestly, I'm not surprised the lewd waifu thing hasn't been mentioned before all this. I'm surprised they're just acting on it now.
So there had to be. So there had to be someone complaining about it. I mean, not just complaining one time, but complaining,
Maybe.
over and over.
Okay, so here's my thing on that. That's the kind of thing that people would have been complaining about for years.
Yeah, I do agree. And the thing is, I don't know if this is going to affect the OCG because the European countries are affected by TCG rules, which is what we have here in America. So OCG is completely different by rules and all that type standpoint. So whether it'll affect the OCG, I don't know. It probably will affect the TCG over here in America sometime soon, because that's one thing big about Konami America is censorship, especially when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Like if you look at some of their cards, obviously the biggest one is Dark Magician Girl.
Yeah.
That one is heavily censored because on her chest there's not only a little pendant in the original printing, there's a pentagram in the pendant.
Right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So a lot of it's always religious symbols, anything like that. It always gets censored when it comes over from the OCG to America.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I think it's more of a time will tell. We'll see how big of an impact this is going to make. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do anything in the US and people stop. Big majority who have a problem with this will stop going to tournaments over in the European side, or will probably make the trip to go to more tournaments over here in the US. And I don't know. I feel like it's just a reaction that is waiting to be completely explode, and it hasn't happened yet. So I mean, this is just the beginning of something that's that's yet to come. So
that's the thing. This has been something that I would say has been building for a while. Like, it's not surprising that it's happening. It's surprising that it hasn't happened already.
Yeah. So the last, at the time of this recording, Paris just had their championship qualifiers. They had over 2,200 people at that tournament.
That's a lot.
For Yu-Gi-Oh, that's a huge tournament.
That's
Granted, I guarantee you not all 2,200 people were there to be in the tournament, in these tournaments, because when it comes to those type of events, there's not just the tournament is the main event, but there's also the Dragon Duels. There's also a bunch of different little side tournaments that you can get into. You don't have to be there for the main event.
Right.
So, yeah. So I could see it probably dropping down because of that, but I don't think it would drop by much. Maybe by
Probably
a
bought
few.
down by a few thousand, but like about 1,200
You mean
mostly.
You mean a few hundred? Because, like I said, the last tournament was like 2,200 people.
Long enough it gets rid of the mostly smelly types and dirty types. I mean, fuck it, why not?
I mean, if you really want the smelly, dirty types, just go to a convention.
I mean, you're not wrong. But
Better yet, go there on the last day of it,
No,
because I swear some of these people don't know how to take a shower.
But
Well, the thing is, though, tournament rules, they actually have a hygiene rule.
yeah, you have to shower in order
You
to
have
participate.
there is a hygiene rule.
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if all trading card games have a hygiene rule, but I know Yu-Gi-Oh at least has one.
For good reason. But
it sounds like I'm bashing on it. I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't know. It sounds like I'm bashing on random nerds. It's just. But I'm just not a big old. I'm not really into it.
It's
Like
less bashing, more. This is commentary that's been made time and time again.
Yeah.
and with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I have been your host, DimondAssassin, aka Lewis, joined by Gallows,
Joe. See you later.
DJ Lionheart,
Stay nerdy, everybody.
and the hungry Honeybadger.
As we turn our ways towards World War III, remember,
Oh my god!
stop hating each other, because I hate you all enough for every single fucking one of you.
The fuck? Oh, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.